going to be doing this video a little bit different than I normally do. When I make soap, depending on what the batch is, it can take quite a bit of time. So sometimes I have to walk away or let layers set up, or there's just different parts of it that make it a lot longer than what you see in the video. And then typically I fast forward because a lot of it is really slow. Like I made a batch of soaps last week and it was just a bunch of testers, but it took me 45 minutes to get everything done and poured. And when it's all said and done, just with the making process, that doesn't, account for getting the oils ready, getting the lye solution ready, or taking them out of the molds and beveling the edges. So what I'm going to do today, because I've had quite a few people ask for me to do a longer video without fast forwarding, I'm going to do that today. And this is the reason I'm doing it with this one is this is a very straightforward batch of soap. This is going to be a dish and laundry soap. I have these cute little dishes that I'll use for the dish soap, and then I have this. I make my own laundry soap, and I will be just pouring in what I need into this because I will be running it through the grater when it's time to make the soap. Now, another reason why I don't typically do this is we're in a never-ending process of building our house. My husband's always doing projects, and the garage is like right off of this room, and then he likes to do his his sawing and everything right outside here, which is fine, but it can be noisy. I also have 2 teenagers, and I actually had to start the video over because my daughter came in and started talking to me. So, it is, I have an active family and lots going on. I like to listen to audiobooks. But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and just kind of show you the whole process of making this batch of soap. I'm not going to do any cuts to this one, so there's really nothing to cut since I'm pouring it into the little bowls, and then this one. So this is a very different formula than my typical soap. This is not a body soap. This is a laundry and a dish soap. So when you are making soap, or when somebody makes soap, there's something called superfatting, which is the additional oils in the soap that make it conditioning. You don't want that in your laundry, and you don't want it on your dishes. So this has a 0 superfat. So it would be very, very drying, and I do let it cure longer than normal, so it's not as harsh. If you were to go use this right away, it would be very, very harsh. But again, you don't want those free-floating oils on your dishes or in your laundry, so 0% superfat, not a body soap at all. And it bubbles like crazy. It's really great. I do use a high percentage of coconut oil, a little bit of castor oil because that helps boost bubbles. I do use castor oil in all of my soaps because it makes beautiful lather. And then I also am using local tallow in this as well. Okay, citric acid. I'm using citric acid because that acts as a chelator, and it helps to reduce soap scum and to keep any oils minerals in your water from sticking to your dishes or your laundry or like the side of your tub and all that. So I'm going to go ahead and get ready to go. And because this has no superfat in it, it does move faster, even though I'm using, the same amount of like liquid, because your liquid content, when you are making soap, you have to let that evaporate out. That's one of the big things of Cure, is because in the final bar of soap, there's no actual liquid left over in that, but you have to have something to mix a lye into. So that's with the liquid. So the more liquid you put in, the longer the cure time. The less liquid you put in, the shorter, potentially. There's other things that happen as well. But when you are doing something with like a lower amount of water, percentage of water, then that can make the soap set up faster. Also having a higher lye concentration, that can happen as well. So since this is a laundry soap, it is going to move faster. I have found, like, sometimes when I do like a bigger batch, it will start setting up really fast. This is definitely not one that you want to pour into a mold and then like a loaf mold and cut into bars, because that really won't happen. So it's going to be kind of noisy. This part is noisy, which I always fast forward through. Oh, fragrance. So I'm going to be doing essential oils. I wanted something that's cleansing. So I've got lemon. I think I just did 3 things in this one. Yeah, I've got lemon for the cleansing properties. I've got lemongrass and Litsea, which are both really good citruses. And the thing about those two is essential oils are very fleeting in soap, especially the citrus ones. And the lemongrass and Litsea really help with that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I have my oils all warmed up here. I like to soap at about anywhere between 80 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and then I have my lye at about that same temperature. So I really love these stick blenders with the removable wands. I have one that doesn't, but this is what I like to use. So let's go ahead and get going. And I'll try to think of anything else. I'm not sure how much these hold. But if you guys ever want me to chat about anything, I'm pretty open to different things to talk about. So I'm going to pour it down the wand that helps prevent splashes and helps prevent bubbles in the soap, which with this one it doesn't really matter as much. Also with the high coconut oil, that can make your soap move a lot faster. I know some people do 100% coconut oil soaps or mostly coconut oil soaps, and those for the body need to have a super high, super fat. And with my typical formula, I will do 5%, 5 to 7%, because I have a lot of conditioning oils that aren't harsh on the skin. But if you were to do one that's 100% coconut oil, you need to really have like 20% super fat on that. So I'm not going to go to a very thick trace. Because I don't want it to move too fast on me. What are you doing? We are a cat-friendly house. And there is a cat nearby. I hear her meowing. Alright, so that's where I want it to be. Not too thick. Scrape everything off. I don't like to waste anything. All right, set that aside. So out of curiosity, I'm going to weigh these out and see. Oh gosh, Natalie, I almost forgot to put the essential oil blend in. That would have been irritating. For this, it wouldn't have been the end of the world, but it still would have been irritating. Now, something nice. Well, citrus essential oils typically will help slow down your soap. But lemongrass, which is not a citrus, even though it smells like it, it speeds it up. So kind of might have a bit of an issue there at the lemongrass, but we'll move fast. All right, like I said, because I'm curious how much, I'm hoping about 4 ounces on these. Oh gosh, if I fill it all the way up, maybe it'll be 4 ounces. Okay, if I go pretty much right to the top. That's 4 ounces. Okay. That's fine. Now, I'm going to go ahead and fill these up first. I was thinking about pouring into the mold first. I think what I'm going to do is fill up 6 of them, and then I'm going to pour into there, just a slab mold, because I'm just going to break it up. Like I said, I don't need bars or anything on that one. So I'm going to grate it, and honestly, if I have thin pieces, it's a lot easier to put into the grater. I have an attachment for my KitchenAid, which is super handy to grate soaps. I use it for confetti soaps and laundry soap and different things like that. And these will cure right in these glass bowls, and they'll probably pop out when they start to shrink, which is fine. So when I go and sell these, say if somebody wants to put it into a different container, they could definitely do that. does smell really good. This is behaving beautifully, which is really surprising. And like I said, sometimes things behave amazing and sometimes it does not. Now some of the soaps, my husband suggested that I should do some live videos, but it's hard to time them because just with life and work and everything, it's hard to figure out exactly when I'm going to be making soap. I had actually planned on making soap yesterday, but that did not happen. Anyway, my husband was suggesting doing some live videos, and I was thinking I'm getting ready to make all my natural soaps, and that would probably be the best time to do it because I'm not going to be doing a bunch of layers, and I can talk through it as I'm making them. I'm not having to walk away. I mean, like I said, some of them, if I'm doing embeds or things like that, it can take several days to do that, and that obviously would not be feasible for a live video. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I need to have 15 ounces for my personal use. So I'm going to figure out, I always write what size my bowls are, or how much my bowls weigh on the side. So I've got 41 ounces and I only need 15. So I'm going to pour about 15 in there, which actually I could do more than that because I need 15 cured ounces. So I might do about 20. Let's do 20 ounces. So what I did once I figured the weight, I just teared it out, and then so it's going to be showing me a negative number, so I don't have to weigh that part out. Okay, so I'm at 20.28. Get a little towel to wipe my hand on. I'm going to grab some more of these glass bowls because this is making more because of the liquid content. You can hear the cat back there chattering. She can see the reflection of the spoon. It's kind of funny, in my office I've got a window in there, and she loves to play with the reflection from my phone. She knows anytime I go to the office, she runs in there, jumps on my desk, and wants to play with the reflection. She's seeing the reflection from the spoon. I know. You can probably see it, can't you? Okay, I'm going to have to open some more of these. Slide these down, and then I will carefully put this into my oven. I like to do something called CPOP, cold process oven process, and especially if you're doing like natural colors, you really need to do that. It helps to gel the soap, so it kind of makes it an even temperature throughout, and it helps intensify the colors. A lot of natural colors, you have to do it. It also can create a harder bar soap, but I like doing it because I don't really have to worry about it getting warmer unevenly as it is going through saponification. Now, saponification, that is when the lye reacts with the oils and creates soap. So, and that causes it to heat up during that exothermic reaction. And you can end up with something called a gel ring, which is harmless, but it creates a circle on the bar itself when you cut it. sometimes you don't really want that on the design. All right, let's see if I can stick one more. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. Okay, we're going to do one more, I hope, and then we'll just set that on in the oven. So anyway, when I'm done with this, I'm going to go ahead and put it into the oven to cold process, oven process, and then I do not touch it for 24 hours. I do that with all of my soaps. Put them in the oven, and I don't touch them for 24 hours. It also helps prevent soda ash. So soda ash is when the lye reacts with the oxygen in the air while it is becoming soap, and it can create kind of an ashy look on top. Sometimes if you have a whole lot, it can be throughout the soap, and sometimes it can make your soap brittle. It doesn't harm the soap, it's just kind of an unsightly thing, and it can cause issues. But when you cut off that oxygen, it will help prevent that. Okay, so I've got all of those done. That made more than I thought it was going to. Like I said, I wasn't quite sure how much it was going to make. But I don't know if you can see this, but it's starting to thicken up. So see how you can see the lines of the soap on top. So I'm going to scrape this out really good. When I finish making soaps, I always scrape out my bowls and everything really, really well. Then I will wipe everything down with a washcloth or a dish towel, and those all get set aside into a basket, and I let them saponify, become soap, and then I will rinse them out in the sink really well, and then I will throw them in the wash. I don't just throw them straight into the wash because I don't want to do a full load of, especially if I'm doing body soap, because that's a lot of free floating oils that I don't want in my wash machine. So I'll rinse them out and then do a wash with that. And then same thing with my dishes. I will scrape everything out, like I said, wipe it down, and then they'll sit in the sink for at least 24 hours, and then I will wash them with hot water. You don't want to put them in the dishwasher because the, again, minerals within the water will react, and you end up with kind of an ashy film on all of your dishes. Even using citric acid, it's still kind of a problem. And we are on rainwater, and we don't seem to have that problem. So sometimes I will put them in the dishwasher here. But when I lived elsewhere with regular water, couldn't do that. All right, so I am done. This is going to go into the oven. I'm going to clean everything up, and that kind of gives you an idea of how long it takes. And this is a very straightforward, very easy batch of soap. So you can imagine how long it takes to do a full batch with, say 20, 40, 60 bars of soap, and doing designs and different things like that. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again next time.